Bienvenue à Edmonton, the capital of Alberta, Canada. Good day and welcome back to the Flying Doctor channel. Today we're getting out of this minus 25 degree climate and headed to a slightly warmer place just to the southwest of here, Vancouver, British Columbia. We're going to be trying out Air Canada, hopping on one of their Boeing 737s in their business class. So, if you're interested to see what the experience aboard Air Canada's Boeing 737 is on a domestic business class product, sit back, relax, get ready for another flight review.
The early morning drive over to the airport was a quick one. It's been a while since I've driven in conditions like this, so I'm glad someone else was behind the wheel. I was surprisingly alert, given it was 4 a.m. and minus 20 outside. Having taken my final breath of freezing Edmonton air, I headed inside to the self-service kiosk to print my boarding pass. Check-in complete, it was time to get airside and test out Canada's CATSA, or Canadian Air Transport Security Authority, the country's version of TSA. I'm not exactly sure if people say CATSA, but I did it. Staff were friendly and seemed pleasant, unlike most of their cross-border cousins working for the United States Department of Homeland Security. It wasn't too busy and I was quickly airside.
Alright, well, security was a breeze, and with a business class ticket on Air Canada, you get priority screening. So it's not any different than the regular screening, but you do get to skip ahead in the line in terms of general boarding passengers. One of the other benefits of business class in Air Canada is that, unlike with domestic flights in the US, you do get access to the lounge. So I'm going to try and find the Maple Leaf Lounge. Let's go check out what it's like inside, grab a coffee and maybe a bite to eat.
Wish they had those when I was a kid. Welcome to Air Canada's Maple Leaf Lounge in Edmonton. It's always nice to see a good-looking model posing for some close-ups. Shortly after 4:30, the front desk agent for the lounge opened the doors and allowed us to enter. There are a handful of different seating options along the one side of the lounge, offering a view down into the terminal, and a few cubicles for the workaholics with a printer. I was here to get some fuel for the morning. An assortment of pastries, hard-boiled eggs, cut fruit and veggies, and yogurt made up the cold options. A variety of water alternatives were available to quench your thirst. In terms of warm food, you could toast yourself a slice of bread or plain bagel, or go for the potatoes, egg frittata, or other form of potatoes. Baked beans can accompany the eggs, and if you're feeling plain, there's also a cauldron of porridge.
Well, the lounge isn't that bad. Definitely better than anything any US airline would give you for a business class ticket in terms of lounge access with a domestic flight. But it's time to get to the gate, and I'd like to get a better look at what the plane we're flying on today looks like.
Well, I made it to the gate, but because there's no clear view of the aircraft, these photos from planespotters.net will have to do. Today's flight is on board Charlie Golf Echo Hotel Yankee, a 6-year-old Boeing 737 MAX 8. After departing to the southeast, we'll change course to the west and pass over the Rockies before beginning our descent into the Vancouver area, flying downwind towards the Strait of Georgia before making the base to final turn. The 503-mile flight will take just under 2 hours from pushback to parking at our final gate in Vancouver.
Canada, flight 231 to Vancouver is now ready for priority boarding. Good luck. Good.
Thank you. I get out there.
Yeah, you guys just, we don't need one to
As I step over the threshold onto the aircraft, let's take a look at the seat map. Air Canada's MAX 8s have 16 business class seats offering 38 inches of pitch, a 13-inch screen, universal power socket, and USB plug. In economy, the 54 seats between rows 12 and 20 are designated as preferred seats, while the remaining 99 seats are considered standard. 1 lav in the front and 2 in the aft are available for those who need to relieve themselves on the journey.
Alright, boarding began right on time, and I was number 3 to board. Arrived at my seat 1 Foxtrot, had to finagle all my bags and get all the gear out that I wanted during the flight, because if you're in a bulkhead seat, you cannot store any of your personal items in front of you because there's no seat in front to store them under. There is a water at the seat available. We'll take a closer look at the seat once we get off the ground. See if there's any sort of in-flight service. It's a quick flight over to Vancouver, so I don't expect there to be much, but some nice windows here, nice and clean compared to that WestJet flight we had up to Edmonton. So we should be able to get some nice views out the window as we depart in this maybe sunrise as we head southwest to Vancouver.
After pushback, the safety video aired as we taxied over to the de-icing stand. For those of you who live in a warmer climate and don't fly into or out of locations that dip below freezing, this is a standard procedure ensuring no ice or frost accumulation is on the wings and control surfaces, which would disrupt airflow and reduce lift. The process for a 737 costs upwards of $5,000 US. There are a few different types of de-icing fluid, and they range between $15 and $25 per gallon. 15 minutes later, we were on our way to the active.
Okay, we're airborne, and my expectations on Air Canada's domestic business class product are being met and then some. We were handed a warm towel just after takeoff. It wasn't the warmest and it wasn't the softest towel, but it's definitely something that I had not expected. The gentleman to my left was asked if he would like an omelet at mid-flight, and I wasn't asked if I wanted any food, but definitely not something I would expect on an hour and 15-minute flight. Domestically, that's a lot of work for a flight attendant to take care of 16 passengers and for a full service meal, but we'll see. We're just entering over the Rockies, it looks like, so we'll see if we hit some turbulence going over the Rockies. Either way, keep you updated on whether or not there's anything more interesting about this flight, and check out the in-flight entertainment as well as a good look at the seat here. As you can see, it's a bit dark. I don't know if the sun's going to be rising, so you might have to deal with a little bit of the darkness and grainy video.
Let's get a closer look at these seats. These are the Collins Aerospace MyQ Cradle seats. With 21 inches of width and a 6-inch recline, you'll definitely be comfortable for a short domestic flight. The cloth-backed seats provides a feeling of warmth, something that many probably appreciate on cold mornings like today's. The center console features a pop-out tray, a storage compartment where the universal power and USB plugs are located, as well as the buttons for reclining and extending the leg rest. As someone who is on the taller side, these leg rests are more of a nuisance than a comfort. The literature pocket glued to the bulkhead contains 1 sanitary bag and 1 safety card. The IFE system at the bulkhead seats are mounted on the bulkhead itself. I can imagine that for some passengers, this presents a problem as the additional room provided by a bulkhead seat means there's more distance between you and the screen. For those challenged by height, you may want to consider avoiding the first row for this particular reason. Above your head are reading lights, air vents, and a call button. The tray table can be removed from the armrest by pulling up on a release tab, grabbing the table and lifting it up out of the armrest and folding it over onto your lap. The table can be unfolded for more surface area and can be extended or retracted.
Well, this is definitely unexpected. Well, there was no option. Why would you complain? I mean, look at this. You got a little omelet, sausage, potatoes, bread roll, and then a little thing of fruit. I am quite blown away. I think the US airlines need to figure out what they're doing wrong. Let's go ahead and see how it tastes. So sausage has a bit of a sweet taste to it. Let's give it a go with the salsa here. It's a pretty decent warm meal, served with, metal cutlery, standard dishes. It's definitely a step above what you would see on any domestic first class or business class product in the US.
Wait, I need to clarify what I said. This is a step above any business class ticket with a US carrier on a flight less than 700 miles.
Am I weird for preferring my fruit at room temperature? Let me know if you like to eat fruit chilled or at room temperature, or does it depend on what the fruit is? I'd be interested to know. So the only complaint that I would have about this meal, and it's really trivial, is that the tray that the meal was served on has seen better days. It's probably been washed a couple hundred times, and through the process of heating and cooling, it's warped the plastic a bit. But, this is excellent for a short domestic flight in business class. Again, US Airlines, pay attention. Stop skimping out on service. People pay a lot of money to fly in front of the airplane. If you're paying that premium, you should be able to expect a little bit more than a free checked bag and a wider seat.
If you know me, my go-to entertainment in flight is the window, but it's dark out and I thought I'd take a peek at the entertainment options. There's a pretty good catalog of moving pictures, decent selection of games. You can stay up to date on global news, try to infer through pictures what food service is like, enjoy a great interactive flight map, or a feature that I'm beginning to appreciate more and more, an interactive destination guide. The aircraft is also equipped with Intelsat Wi-Fi. If you're an Aeroplan member, messaging is offered for free. A flat fee of $10.25 Canadian will grant you Wi-Fi for the entirety of the flight, roughly half the price of the Wi-Fi service offered on WestJet. My time on this flight flew by between checking out the IFE and enjoying a full meal. Due to the thick layer of clouds blanketing the Vancouver area, nothing was visible until we touched down.
Welcome to Vancouver, where it's 3 degrees with light drizzle. The current time here is 6:49 a.m. If you just want to reset your watches, as there is an hour difference, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and your baggage stowed until the seatbelt sign has been turned off. Smoking is still not permitted.
Thank you. Have a good day. Morning, afternoon. All right, that was Air Canada's domestic business class on a 737. And I must say, expectations were exceeded big time. I'm gonna get on to my connecting flight, which you're definitely not gonna wanna miss because it's, again, with Air Canada, but on a larger aircraft. If you enjoyed any of this video with Air Canada on a domestic business class product, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and look for some updates in the future. As always, thanks for watching. See ya.